Hello Exocademy. I'm Dr. Sean Vandebiver, creator of Exocademy, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about the new Galway version 3.0 DentalCAD release, and Exoplan version 3.0 is also released. And this video is going to go over some installation considerations, whether you are installing exocad for the first time or you're upgrading from a previous version. There's some things to consider when you install the program. It's not something that you just want to unzip and get going. You want to do some setup and some configuration before you get started. So, for example, all your case files are in the same spot or where you want them to be before you start working. Once you get going, then you're going to have to go back and make these changes, and you may lose some of your files, or you might not lose them, but they might be more difficult to find later on. So first, we're going to go over the installation, what you should consider when you're doing that, and set aside some time. This isn't something that you want to do really in between patients. You want to set aside a couple hours at your workstation to make sure that all of these processes go smoothly. So you can see here on my desktop, I've got 3 files. I've got the exocad DentalCAD zip file. It's 2.71 gigabytes, and exoplan version 3.0 Galway. That's 1.74 gigabytes. So you want to make sure that you download those zip files. Ask your reseller for them, or if you're an Exocademy customer, you'll have gotten those download links to download those zip files. And we've got a third file here, the exocad framework 2020. That's something that you're going to have to install regardless. Even if you have an older version of DentalCAD and you've been using it, you have to upgrade to this new framework 2020. So we've downloaded those 3 files. The first thing we're going to do is execute the exocad framework 2020 file. So I'm going to start that, and I'm just going to install it, and we're just going to wait for that to install. That's step 1. Okay, finish the setup, and I think because I've already installed this, I don't have to restart my computer, but once it's installed, you may want to do a system restart just to make sure that all of the drivers are loaded on your system. And the installation going forward now, once you have that framework installed, is the same for exoplan and DentalCAD. So we're just going to do DentalCAD, and the changes that we make to DentalCAD are going to be the same changes that we make to exoplan. So they're 2 different programs, but the settings and configurations are in the same relative files. So we're going to unzip this DentalCAD Galway zip file. If you don't know, if you don't have an unzip program, I would recommend downloading WinRAR, W-I-N-R-A-R. It's a free download, and it can unzip, it can decompress zip files as well as 7Z files, which is what the original OEM link is for DentalCAD. Compressed folders usually come in the 7Z file format. I just prefer the zip format. And to get that program, just Google WinRAR, download WinRAR, and I believe it's RAR Labs, RARLABS.com. So again, it's a free download. So we're just going to unzip this. I'm going to right click and drag, and I'm going to extract this compressed library to the desktop. So this is going to take a little bit. we're just going to unzip to this folder. So you see this new folder on the desktop. It's called exocad-v3.0-Galway. And that's where our DentalCAD folders are going to be located. Once that is unzipped, that folder is the exocad folder. We can just move that folder anywhere we want on our computer. We can go into that folder and move the folders that are within that folder. So let's open that. Now that it's unzipped, we can go inside. We have this exocad v3.0 Galway folder, and inside that folder is CAD-DATA, DentalCAD app, which is the DentalCAD application folder, DentalDB, which is the DentalDB folder, ExoPrint, Library Manager, and Exocademy also includes the Partial CAD app folder, which is the Partial CAD program. You're going to need that if you've got an Ultimate Lab bundle dongle, for example, to use Partial CAD. So Exocademy includes that with your download. The first thing we're going to do with this folder is we're going to move it to where we want it to eventually end up. For me, because I use a couple different workstations, I have a couple different license dongles. I want to have a common network folder for all of my cases. So I need to do some configuration, and I need to move that exocad folder. So I would suggest in the C drive making an exocad folder, and then if you'd like to keep different versions of exocad, keep different versions within that exocad folder. What you should not do is, especially if you've got a network situation where you want to save your CAD data or your design data to a network folder, you don't want to put exocad in your documents folder. So if I go to, let's see, my documents here, you can see this PC/documents. If I see what the actual folder is actually the C drive users, and then I go to the computer name, Dr. Office, and then it's documents. So right here is the actual location on the hard drive. It's the C drive /users/ this specific computer name /documents. If I want to share my CAD data, that's going to be different for every computer that I'm on. So I don't want to put my CAD data in the documents folder. I want to put it in something that is the same whatever workstation I'm working on. So, and I like my data to be synced and backed up automatically, so I put my stuff in my Dropbox folder. When I first install Dropbox, it goes to your documents folder, which is specific to that computer. So I actually, when I install Dropbox for the first time, I go to the advanced settings and make sure that my Dropbox folder, you can see right here, is in my C drive. So on all of my computers, when they sync up, their Dropbox folder is C/Dropbox. And then in my Dropbox, I've also got my exocad and then all of my data. So my CAD data is all in my Dropbox folder, in my exocad folder, on the C drive directly. So now, anytime I do that, anytime I add patient data, it gets synced across both of my workstations, and I don't have to worry about copying project files like to a USB drive and take the USB drive. It's automatically synced. So that also means that I need to change the CAD data folder that exocad is looking for. So, like I said, this folder right here is on the desktop, and this is the exocad v3 Galway with all of these folders. This is the actual exocad program. So I can go into DentalDB/bin and then start DentalDB.exe. And you can see I'm in the version 3 Galway. This is what we just unzipped, and I'm going to start it. And when I go to load, all it has are the demo cases. This is it. So the first case that I have is single die offset coping. Okay, so I can use that, but all of the cases that I've always designed are not here because the CAD-DATA folder, I've altered it and I want it to be that folder that it's looking for. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is, when I do I'm going to show you in my actual exocad installation. I go to my Dropbox, exocad, my version 3, DentalDB, config. So now I'm in DentalDB/config, and then in there is an XML file called defaultsettings-db. I'm going to edit that XML file. So on the right is the one I've already edited, and on the left is the one I just unzipped. Okay, I've just installed. So I'm going to edit the default settings-db. I go down in the file to where it says data storage path. So I've highlighted that here. You can see data storage path, and in between these parentheses, hard parentheses, arrow parentheses, I don't know what you call them, it's /CAD-DATA. The // means the exocad installation folder. Okay, the XML file reads where DentalDB.exe is, and it says that folder where DentalDB is, there should be a CAD-DATA folder. So what this is instructing exocad to look for, it's looking for, so this is, you know, my installation on the right, and on the left is the new unzipped, recently unzipped location. What it's looking for, that /CAD-DATA, is looking for this exocad v3.0 CAD-DATA folder. So anything that's in this CAD-DATA folder is what it's looking for. If we look at my edited default settings-db.xml file, I go to data storage path, and you can see it says C/Dropbox/exocad/CAD-DATA. What that is showing is saying go to my Dropbox folder, exocad, and then in that exocad folder I have a CAD-DATA folder. That CAD-DATA folder has all of my patient data from version 2.4, version 3.0. It also has all of my exoplan data. So all of my exocad data is in this one single folder, not the newest version release folder, because I've used it before and I want to make sure that all of my data goes to a specific area. You can even rename the folder if you want. My whole point in doing this is that I have a central folder where all of my stuff goes, and I have to instruct exocad when I install it the first time. I want to instruct it where is all of that data. So I go back to my default settings and I change data storage path. So let's say this is the CAD-DATA. I copy all of this this folder location on the C drive, not specific to this computer, on a C drive, you know, very generic, C/Dropbox/exocad, and I put that in my default settings data storage path. So I'm going to copy the location that I have. You can see planning JD implant is a patient name. So I changed that, my data storage path, to say the actual location. So that's the first part, and then I'm going to save my default settings-db. If you have a problem after you've made a change and you can't use exocad, just unzip the exocad folder again and just copy over the default settings-db.xml, or make a backup before you get started. So that's the first thing, is the location of the folder, of the CAD data folder. And so now if we do that and we start, let's see, I'm going to move this, I can't move that. I'm going to now open our newly unzipped DentalDB, start that up again. Now it has the new CAD data folder, and I'm going to load a case, and now you can see all of my old cases are there. Okay, so we have this JD planning implant. It's in Dropbox. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to start DentalCAD. We get an error message. The file specified on the command line was not found. So this is what I mean when saying if you change some settings, your old cases, exocad won't be able to see them, won't be able to find them. So that's okay. We know what the issue is. I'm going to exit out of here. And the reason why the new exocad version, when I say new, I mean the recently unzipped version, can't find it, is because further on down, after we've changed the data storage path, the CAD data storage path, we have to also change the naming convention for the folders and files of our cases. So right below that, so let's see here. Here's our data storage path, right here. And we scroll down a little bit more, and we'll see this column of percent symbols and letters. Just below that are two tags here. The first one says file name template, and the second one is path template. This is the freshly unzipped XML file. This is one that I've changed for my preferences. And here is the file name and path name template. You can see my file name template is %L underscore %F dash %TC dash %D. That means, according to our key up here, our legend up here, is the patient last name underscore patient first name dash the shade for the whole job dash the date. You can see that that's different from the original unzipped or unaltered file. Is is date underscore practice number dash %S. So exocad or DentalDB is looking for the naming convention and the folder name, and it's coming back to you saying, I can't find this case that you have in your CAD data folder. It should be named like this. So we have to change the file name and the path name to reflect what it is that we did before. So I just copy and paste my naming conventions over to the new file name template and the path name template, because that's how I want it. Is I want the name of the patient so I can find their folder. Okay, that's not how exocad or DentalDB initially names everything. So now that I've changed it and I've saved it, I'm going to go to our newly unzipped DentalDB, start that again. And now when I load a case, one that we've already done, and go to design, now the project loads. I didn't put any scan data with this patient, but you can see that it found the case. And if we had, this particular patient is an exoplan patient, so I don't have the DentalCAD scene files here loaded. Okay, so we're just going to close it. We could load another one. Let's see. And you can see, so this is a case that was designed in a previous version. I've updated the new, default settings to reflect where my CAD-DATA folder is, and I've updated the naming conventions for the folders and the files for each case. So once we have that, then we can go ahead and say, okay, now I'm ready to use exocad. All of your data is going to be in the spot that you want. So just make sure that your CAD-DATA folder is pointing to the right spot, and make sure that your path naming template and your file naming template are the same if you're upgrading or changing versions. You want to make sure that it's the same version so it knows what folder to look for and what files to look for, so it finds all of your cases. If you start to make some cases and then decide to change your naming convention, exocad won't know where to look to find those old cases. So even though they're there, they're going to be under a different name. You may have to import them again through DentalDB so exocad kind of puts the right name to the folder. So those are the kind of considerations that you've got to make when you install this and start using it, because you don't want to get too far down and then have two separate databases for all of your designs. Keep them all together. And I would suggest either you put them on a network folder that has the same drive associated with it, like your X drive or your Z drive, that the Z drive is mapped to the same spot from all of your workstations. So I hope that helps you with understanding how to install exocad appropriately, and it makes your designs a little bit more efficient, so you don't have to have multiple copies of all of this data, because your hard drive space will get used up pretty quick if you have multiple different databases with every installation that you have. So that's it for this. I hope you found some value out of it. Please subscribe to the channel if you want some more free exocad updates and tips and tricks on how to use exocad more efficiently and proficiently. So thanks so much, and have a happy new year.